to this week's live IELTS classes. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest. I hope everybody is having a good start to their week. In this class, we are looking at speaking part 1, discussing how to start with some Band 9 answers. Hi Tito, hi Awaz, hello to all of our members. Hi Irene, hi Gurkarat, hi Pachu, and Flower Sun Violet. Nice to see our regular students in the class. While we wait for some more of your peers, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS success, make sure to join our premium package there. And for the general version of the exam, check us out at gieltshelp.com. I'm putting these URLs at the top here so you can take note of that and check them out anytime when you're able in the lesson or afterwards. And of course, you can download and link our apps from your app stores, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. If you have questions about the exam or about our products, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. We are partners with British Council, so we have some nice insight into how IELTS works. And we work with a team of educational psychologists to bring you the best and most effective strategies for success. Here is the schedule for this week from today until the 28th. That's Saturday. Today, speaking part 1, and then tomorrow we will have 2 classes. We'll have a task 1 writing class for members, followed by a reading class for everyone. And then on Friday, speaking part 2, followed by task 2 for everyone. And then we'll have questions and answers for members on Saturday, and speaking part 3 for everyone. So hopefully you'll be able to attend these classes. But today we are focusing on speaking part 1. For all of you asking, I'm doing great. Thank you. This is a speaking class, so make sure to speak and repeat as much as possible. Of course, writing answers into the chat is a great idea. Make sure to not just type, but also say them nice and loud as we go through. All right, students. So the speaking section of the IELTS exam, it's a roughly 12-minute interview that you will have with native English speaker face-to-face in a room. Be confident, be yourself, and always focus to speak loud and clear. They are recording the session just in case they need to remark your score. So it's important that you speak loud, clear, and confident. This is a review for some. It's probably new information for others. How should you picture the examiner? So when you see the examiner and you're feeling a little bit nervous, of course, I would be feeling nervous too if I were tested verbally in another language. What should you see? So how should you picture or visualize your examiner? What is a good way to gain some confidence and make sure to speak nice and loud? Yeah, so Beckjohn says maybe see them like your grandparents. Yeah, grandparents is a great way to see them. Grandparents are full of love. They're not judgmental. And you feel confident with speaking with your grandparents, of course. And you remember that with grandparents, you have to speak loud, clear, full sentences. You never assume that they have information on the latest technology or know what you know, so you're speaking with more details. So that's right. Good job, students. So visualize your examiner as your grandpa or grandma. So you are confident, loud, clear, and detailed. Okay. All right. Now, aside from that, the foundation for a nice high band score to get those band 9s, you have to always think about giving an answer plus an explanation plus an example. And that's what we're going to do today. So the examiner will greet you. The examiner will say, Welcome to the speaking portion of the exam. And then they will ask for your identification and your full name. Now, we always cover the full name and the identification. It's important to practice saying your name in different ways, handing over your passport, being fluent and clear for those questions. So we're going to skip the what's your full name and may I see your identification so we can get to some more questions today. I had a couple of students ask me for that. So let's start with some of the icebreaker questions. The IELTS examiners will usually ask you a couple of very simple questions to begin, just to make you feel comfortable as much as possible and get you to start speaking. One of the very common questions that they will ask is, do you work or study? So give me a nice full sentence answer for do you work or do you study? Or maybe you're doing both. In that case, you'd want to speak about both. Again, remember, you're talking about grandma, grandpa here. Maybe you haven't seen them in a while. They don't know what you're up to. So you want to be as clear and accurate as possible. Beckjohn says, currently, I'm not only studying at Eurasian National University, but also preparing for this exam to pursue my graduate education in Canada next year. Beckjohn, that's a great answer, okay? So practice saying that nice and fluently, okay? Maksud says, I'm currently studying at high school. Maksud, include the answer. So why are you studying at high school? What are your goals after? Even though it might seem common knowledge to get a high school diploma, you still want to explain that during the exam. So during the speaking exam in the IELTS, you want to explain as if you're talking to somebody who doesn't know you at all and is not familiar with your goals, okay? All right. Sianu Thapa says, well, currently I'm between jobs and seeking employment opportunities in the IT industry. Okay, Sainu, that's a good answer. Just don't repeat the word currently. So try not to be too repetitive using the same words. You want to show lexical resource. If you're repeating yourself often, that will lower your lexical resource scores, okay? All right. Gurkirat says, I'm a student. I've completed my secondary classes in mathematics, and now I am planning to go to university and continue with a bachelor's in mathematics because I've had a love for numbers since I was a child. Okay, so Gurkrat, again, explain yourself as much as possible. Abhishek says, well, I'm a full-time employee in one of the finest IT companies in the heart of Gujarat, Ahmedabad, as a senior technical consultant. Okay, that's nice, Abhishek. Yeah. Komal Preet, well, I neither work nor study at the moment. I have my master's degree and was preparing for IELTS to get accepted into Toronto University. All right, Komal Preet, so you are studying. If nothing else, you're studying English to continue your studies abroad. So students, make sure that when you give answers, your answers are coherent. Coherence doesn't just mean using clear English, but it also means giving clear information. So don't contradict yourself. Don't say, I'm not studying or working. I'm doing this IELTS exam to continue my studies. That's kind of weird. It's like, okay, but you are studying. You're studying for this exam. So don't contradict yourself, okay? Now, again, as some of you are doing, using correlative conjunctions like not only but also works really well. So currently, I'm not only working as an IELTS trainer, since I enjoy assisting people to reach their dreams, but I'm also studying Spanish in my spare time, as I love traveling to South America, and I want to be able to socialize with the locals. There. Okay, so repeat me nice and loud, students. Do you work or study? Currently, I'm not only working as an IELTS trainer, since I enjoy assisting people in reaching their dreams, but I'm also studying Spanish in my spare time as I love traveling to South America and I want to be able to socialize with the locals there. Okay, so nice, complete answers. Notice how I'm giving reasons for my answers, okay? Always practice giving reasons for your answers. When you're doing this at home, if you're by yourself, record yourself on your phone, listen back. When you're listening back to your recording, always ask yourself, should I include an example here? Is the example missing? Should I include an explanation here? Is the explanation missing? Can I make this more comprehensive, more complete? Okay, and then if you think, yeah, absolutely, I should in this spot, then restate your answer. So practice, train your mind to automatically think about answers, explanations, and examples. It's super, super important. Okay, and then the next question that your examiner may ask you is, what do you like about your work or school? Okay, what do you like about your work or school? So give me a nice full answer for that question, students. Again, if you're stuck for ideas, try to visualize as much as possible, connect your answers, okay? And if I miss what you're giving me as an answer in the chat, I'll come back and try to read as many different students at different times as possible, okay? So Tito Bati, our member, says, the most amusing part of my work is helping people. I'm a medical officer, and it mostly includes promoting health and preventing illness. I find this really satisfying. Okay, Tito, amusing is a little bit different than the word enjoyable. Amusing is kind of like laughable. It's closer to the word funny or fun. So in that context, Tito, I wouldn't use amusing. I would use the word enjoyable. The most enjoyable aspect of my work is helping people. I'm a medical officer, and this mostly includes promoting health and preventing illness, which in the end is really satisfying, especially in today's context with the danger of the coronavirus, right, Tito? So you might as well put that into your answer, especially if it's very much connected to your current global situation. Okay. Sainu's asking, are test dates being postponed due to the coronavirus? Yeah, absolutely. That's happening worldwide right now. All right. Rihan Mahmoud says, to be honest, I enjoy the atmosphere of my office and school as these places are surrounded by greenery, which helps me to rejuvenate. Okay, Rihan. A little bit awkward with the greenery. The atmosphere in the office and school might be relaxing, informative as well. So think about that. All right. Roshni Kunte says, I enjoy the environment of my office because people are mostly friendly and really helpful during difficulties, even though some have an eye on the project work, like as on the last project. Okay, careful, Roshni, that seems to be going a little bit awkward and off topic, so make sure your examples are clear when you give them. All right. Anusha. Oh, I missed yours. There's lots of answers coming, which is great. Try to get it back. There it is. Anusha says, well, I think nursing is calling me not only that I love helping and taking care of people, but also, Anusha, that's a sentence fragment. So you have to complete your sentence there. Students, if you use correlative conjunctions like not only, you have to have the other part, but also, and then finish the sentence. Okay. Shiro Jidin says, well, actually, as I'm a student, I like most of my teachers because they support me and trust me and motivate me to pass my exams with flying colors. Okay, Shiro Jidin, careful with your grammar. All right. Well, as I had just mentioned, I enjoy my job because I help people reach their goals for both education and immigration. And I enjoy learning Spanish because it opens doors to meeting new people and learning about various cultures, such as Costa Rica, where I traveled last year. Okay, so again, answer, explain, example. Repeat after me. What do you like about your work or school? Well, as I had just mentioned, I enjoy my job because I help people reach their goals in both education and immigration. And I enjoy learning Spanish because it opens doors to meeting new people and learning about various cultures, such as Costa Rica, where I traveled last year. Okay, so notice how in my previous answer I said I enjoy assisting people to reach their dreams. And then in the follow-up question, I gave some more details. So instead of just saying, well, I just said that I like to help people reach their dreams, instead of that repetition, I do a little bit of paraphrasing. I help people reach their goals for both education and immigration. So I give a little bit more detail about those goals that I'm helping people to achieve. Okay, so make those connections between your answers when you can and give more detail. That is one of the best ways for you to move your band score from a 7 to an 8 or even higher. Okay? All right, so once you are done with these 1 or 2 warm-up questions, then for part 1, the examiner will ask some more specific questions, mostly about you. Okay? So keep in mind that part 1 questions are usually about you, which means that you're using first person. Okay, this is really important to start with that band 9. Remember, the focus here is starting with a high band. So keep in mind that part 1 questions are usually about you. This means use the first person voice. That means using I, me, my, myself, okay? And not you or generalizing to people, okay? It's one of the most common mistakes in part 1 speaking when the examiner will ask a question like, do you like working at home? And then the student will answer, yes, people like working at home because you can go to the washroom whenever you want and you don't have to ask your manager. It's kind of like, okay, but I was asking if you like working at home. So your answer should be, yes, I like working at home because I can go to the washroom whenever I want. I don't need to ask for permission, okay? All right, hopefully you don't have to do that in your workplace either, but I'm just giving you that example so that the information sticks in your mind, okay? In everyday conversation, we frequently switch from using I, me, my to using you, because we want to grab the attention of the listener. But in fact, this is interesting social communication, but it's not accurate communication. So you really have to focus and make sure that you avoid the word you and instead use the word I when the question is asking about you. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's clear for everyone. It's definitely top 3 most common types of mistakes that I hear in part 1. And yes, that will cost you marks, okay, because it's incoherent. Preeti says, yep, I got it. Okay, so anytime you make that mistake when you're practicing, make sure to correct it. Okay. All right, so let's answer some more of these questions together, and I will keep giving you some strategies and tips. Okay. All right, here we go. So part one, again, they'll introduce the topic. So the examiner will say, let's talk about working at home. And that's a hot topic. Of course, many of us in many parts of the world are stuck working at home or have been sent to work at home to reduce the infection that's spreading around the world. And IELTS does like to kind of target these topics that are popular, of course, because they hope that people are more fluent in them as well. Okay. Now, a couple of you are asking, Flower Sun is asking, can I talk about studying at home? Yeah, Flower, yeah, you can, because studying at home, you are working. So when you're studying for your university classes at home, you're doing work, you're doing schoolwork, okay? So as long as you make that clear, it's absolutely okay, all right? So that was a good question by Flower Sun. Could I talk about studying at home? So yes, you can talk about doing schoolwork at home. Just make it clear that it is schoolwork. Okay? That's a type of work. Studying is a type of work. You're not getting paid for it usually, but it's definitely considered work as long as you make that clear. All right, so let's target this first question. How often do you work at home? Give me some nice full sentence answers for this one. Rajveer Singh says, well, I frequently work from home. I would say around twice a week. I not only save my travel time, but also get the opportunity to spend more time with family. Rajveer, that's a really nice answer. And then Rajveer continues with an example. Like these days, I'm completely working from home due to the lockdown in India. Okay. Yeah, due to social isolation or social distancing. These are the words. When we have new words come into the mainstream, students, like social distancing or isolation, make sure to use them, okay? So when you hear new English terms in the mainstream, that means in common use, such as social distancing, it's a good idea to use these in your speaking, okay? Because that's exactly what a Band 8, Band 9 level English user would do. So somebody who is a very good or an expert user of the English language would probably be familiar with the modern expressions that are being used and created in society. So if you can catch these and use these, that's excellent, all right? Okay, let's take a look at a few more responses. I can't read the Arabic, but I can read the answer. I'm a student, but now I'm on quarantine because of the corona pandemic, and I'm studying at home. I have a lot of chances and opportunities to clean my house. I was cooking food and I picked up all of the garbage in the backyard that's been sitting there. Don't repeat yourself, students. Don't repeat yourselves. Okay. Preeti says, well, I give a hand to my mom in the house chores 4 days a week because of my job. Like last Sunday, me and my mother cooked Italian food and it was delicious. Okay, Preeti, yeah. So if you can explain that you're doing housework several times at home, that's also considered doing work at home. So as long as your explanation is clear, you're okay. All right. Flower Sun says, well, because of the COVID-19, I guess that I study at home all week now as I don't want to meet up with friends. When I go back to school, I will develop self-study and make a plan for every day. Okay, Flower Sun, the beginning is good. After that, it gets a little bit awkward, so rethink how you want to express that. Hemant Sharma says, generally, I don't work at home because it's hard for me to concentrate. I'm more distracted by other tasks, but now we are under lockdown, so I don't have any other option. Okay, students, remember that you have to answer the question, okay, Hemant? So you have to focus on the question. When the question is how often, give an adverb of frequency and then give quantitative information, okay? So these days, I'm working from home all the time because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as a result, I'm restricted to doing all of my projects from my home office. So I would say 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours each day. In fact, after this exam, I will be at home developing some new procedures for the IT department. Okay, so again, answer, explain, example. All right, repeat after me. How often do you work at home? These days, I'm working from home all the time. So all the time is my qualitative answer because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as a result, I'm restricted to doing all of my projects from my home office. Okay, so that's my explanation. And then, so I would say 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours each day. That's my quantitative information, all right? Really, really important, students, that when we're speaking qualitatively, so saying all the time, it's great, it's beautiful, it's a terrible feeling, these are all qualitative pieces of information. So we can imagine them, but we don't have a specific idea. To get the specific idea, you need to add quantitative information. That means numbers like 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. That is another really, really important way to bump up your band scores in part 1 going into band 2 and 3. Okay, it's really, really important to do that. All right. So just a couple more before we go to the next question. Muyasar Samieva says, nowadays I'm at home because I'm a student and there's quarantine here. So I don't have online lessons, although our president said that there will be online lessons through the TV soon. Okay, Muyasar, so that's a good answer. Careful with your word order. Okay. All right. And then the next question, students. Do you like working at home? All right. So these are, again, part 1. They're quote unquote simple questions. So make sure to answer them as quickly as possible. You shouldn't have to think too much about these. All right. Okay. Abdul Boryi Saidazimov says, yes, I definitely like working from my home because of the convenience and flexibility that it gives me. Predominantly, I try to take responsibility for making projects which can be potentially done from my home office. Okay, that's a good answer. Yeah, maybe give me an example of one of those projects that you're working on. All right. Elena Mori says, yes, I prefer working at home rather than the office. Working at home gives me freedom. I don't have to follow the instructions of anyone. I can work at my time. I can not only eat food and listen to music while working, but also I can take breaks whenever I like. Okay, Elena, that's not bad. Elena, remember to complete your comparison. Okay, so again, in the IELTS exam, in the speaking exam, students, you want to speak more complete than you would in real life. So, Elena, you should say, yes, I prefer working at home rather than at the company office. Okay, you will pick up more points when you complete those comparisons. Pachu Yadav says, I like working at home because of the national medical emergency during this period. We have to slow down and stop the spread of the pandemic disease. Okay, that's not bad, Pachu, but again, remember, even though we have a hot topic here, you still want to focus on answering the question and not going off topic and then suddenly speaking about the coronavirus and the quarantine and that situation. So always focus on the question at hand. That's one of the big reasons that I chose these questions for today, is to emphasize the importance of staying on topic. With hot topics like this one, it's easy to go off topic. So another really important point for part one is do not go off topic. Stay with the question, okay? Don't just keep talking and talking until the examiner stops you. That's really, really important to get those high band scores. Is everybody clear on that? Yes, I enjoy working from my home office as it gives me more flexibility, and in general it is a more relaxing atmosphere. I can grab a bite of food whenever I feel like it. Plus, it's nice to be with my family while or when I'm not sitting at my computer. Okay, so repeat after me. Do you like working at home? Yes, I enjoy working from my home office as it gives me more flexibility and, in general, it is a more relaxing atmosphere than working at the office. I can grab a bite of food whenever I feel like it, plus it's nice to be with my family when I'm not sitting at my computer. So again, just emphasizing completing the comparison, okay? Then working at the company office. Okay, complete your comparisons always. All right. Doing a good job, students. I think a lot of you are picking up the information that I'm giving you. I'm giving you lots and lots of tips throughout this lesson, integrating it into the speaking. Take some notes, okay? I'm writing down some of them, but make sure to take notes on these, okay? Especially if they're closely connected to the way that you're speaking. All right, next question. What do you use when you are working at home? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Again, if I miss some of your answers, don't worry about it. I will try to catch different people at different times. But we want to keep rolling here and going with the questions and answers. And of course, students, while we're speaking and you're repeating, make sure to repeat questions, not just answers. Okay, it's really important to practice questions during your speaking at home or in partners or at school, and not just the answers. Okay, so what do you use when you are working at home? Elena says, I need a high-speed computer and a fast Wi-Fi connection for my work. Moreover, a quiet well-lit room is perfect to help me concentrate. All right, Elena, good. Students, choose your words carefully. So, Elena, I'm not picking on you, but your English is quite good. So, I like to help you to polish it even more. It's a good example of how to go from a 7 to an 8. So, Elena, when you're saying I need a high-speed computer and a fast Wi-Fi connection, you don't need to say for the internet, because clearly a Wi-Fi connection is for the internet. So it's a delicate dance of giving details but not repeating yourself or giving unnecessary information. Okay. All right. Okay, LA music video says, I would say my laptop and smartphone without a doubt. It's extremely convenient. Sometimes I go to an internet center to continue my work because my devices run out of battery. Okay, LA Music, you're going off topic, right? We're asking what you need or what you use to work at home. Make sure to stay focused on the idea of the question. Ferdov says, I have to use my Samsung laptop and my cell phone as I have to control all spheres of my business as well as be in touch with my coworkers. Okay. Students, think kind of big to small and think outside the box as well. So you can start by saying, I use a variety of hardware and software at home to get my work done. I have a computer, printer, and camera, as well as a smartphone to create my work and communicate with colleagues. Also, I use a variety of software for this, like Photoshop, Skype, and WhatsApp, to name a few. Okay. All right. Yeah. So again, remember, you're talking to grandma and grandpa. They don't know what you know. So you want to be as detailed as possible, especially when it comes to tech talk. Okay. So if you're speaking technology, make sure that you're being absolutely clear to the listener. All right. So repeat after me. What do you use when you are working at home? I use a variety of hardware and software at home to get my work done. I have a computer, printer, and camera, as well as a smartphone to create my work and communicate with colleagues. Also, I use a variety of software for this, like Photoshop, Skype, and WhatsApp, to name a few. Okay, so lots of information there for the examiner to be able to give you that high mark, and of course, a good range of vocabulary. All right. Now, students, when you're using words like Photoshop, Skype, WhatsApp, Google, Facebook, practice pronouncing these words like an English speaker. Okay. So these common names that we're so familiar with, these brand names around the world, interestingly, different cultures tend to sometimes pronounce them differently, like Skypey is one pronunciation I often hear. But in the US or Canada, you'll hear the word Skype, not Skypey. Okay, so practice pronouncing those words clearly as a native English speaker. That will help you bump up your pronunciation scores as well. Okay. All right, a couple more for this one. Pachu says, when I'm working at home, I use my laptop to do data analysis and contact my boss for smooth operation. Yesterday, I mailed him about the condition of the production. Very nice, Pachu. That would be a high band answer. Okay, good answer, explanation. Yusuf Al Fatoum says, when I work at home, the most important Equipment I need are both a computer and a piece of paper. And I get rid of my mobile so I can focus on what I'm doing. Okay, Yusuf, not bad. Students, don't use the word thing or things. Okay, it's another one of those. It's like the you. We often use the word things in every language in our everyday communication. But because your time is limited in the IELTS speaking exam, every time you use the word thing or things or stuff, you're taking away time and words which could help you to improve your overall band score. Okay, the word things and stuff decreases your coherence because they're not accurate, and they decrease your lexical resource mark because you're not using more accurate words. So don't use the word things. Okay. All right. Manpreet Kaur says, well, for working at home, I need my laptop, an internet connection, and no distractions. In this way, I can do office work effortlessly. So Manpreet, an even better word without any effort is effortlessly. Okay? All right. So far, so good. Next question. Here we go. What are the difficulties of working at home? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So what are the difficulties for working at home? Violet says the difficulties are that I can't study when the internet is weak and it makes me very, very angry. Okay, Violet, good. Violet, remember with plurals, use the right be verb. So difficulties are, okay? And then name multiple difficulties. All right. Jesse says, I guess working at home is highly difficult due to having a lot of distractions. For example, TV, social media, messenger, and so on. While in the office, I can focus on my task firstly. Okay. Tamir Khan Kalmaruzayev says, the most difficult part for me is the lack of time that homework requires the vast majority of my time, so I can't devote enough thought to my family. Tamer Khan, you use the word you and yours in your answer. Again, remember, don't use the word you and yours. I know it's really tricky to avoid that sometimes, but don't use the word you and yours. You should not speak directly to your examiner. Okay? All right. Legung says, can I speak louder? If it's a little bit quiet on your end, just turn up the volume. I'm pretty sure the sound should be okay, but if anybody else is finding me a bit quiet, let me know. I'll try to speak a bit louder for you. All right. Na Truong Quang says, actually, while working at home, I usually find using the laptop extremely hard since the internet connection is sometimes unstable. And many programs take me a ton of time to download maybe information. Okay, that's good. So Hemant Sharma says, as I mentioned, domestic tasks are major distractions working at home. Moreover, my family gets casual towards my work when I'm at home, so I hardly get 3 to 4 hours of effective work time. Hemant, I know exactly what you mean. It's tough to convince family members of the importance of work sometimes and the need for concentration. So I agree. That's why if you're working at home, just a tip, I know that many of you are working at home these days, and I've been working from my home office for the last 7-8 years. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you if you're working at home is if you can't yet, then spend a couple of dollars and buy a lock for your office door. So if you have a bedroom or an office that you use for your work, make sure that you can lock it. And if you have to get your work done, don't be shy. Tell your family members, hey guys, I gotta work. I'm gonna lock the door. And you're going to have to knock and only knock if it's really important. If you keep your door open, if you keep your door unlocked, it can become really tricky. Believe me, I have 7 years experience with it. And one of the best procedures I use at home for working at home is locking my office when I really need to get work done. Okay, so that's my advice. Buy a lock for your room or your office so that you can concentrate on your work, and take water. Take a drink into your office so you don't have to go out of your office every time for a glass of water, because again, that can really break your concentration. So lock your door and have a water bottle, not a cup. Don't spill water on your computer by accident. So have a water bottle and lock your door. Okay, that's my advice from my experience. Okay, so, well, I sometimes have difficulties concentrating while doing my job at home because of family distractions. Furthermore, if I have any technical issues, such as a poor internet connection, it is much more difficult to manage than at the office where I have IT support. Okay, all right. So far, so good. Here we go, students. Repeat after me. What are the difficulties of working at home? Well, I sometimes have difficulties concentrating while doing my job at home because of family distractions. Furthermore, if I have any technical issues, such as a poor internet connection, it is much more difficult to manage than at the office where I have IT support. Of course, to get those high band scores in your part 1, 2, and 3, you have to use complex sentence structures. So like subordinating conjunctions of time while doing my job at home. If I have any technical issues, that's a subordinating conjunction of condition. So these are complex sentences. Okay. All right. Next question. How has working from home changed in the past 30 years? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So, how has working from home changed in the past 30 years? Give me some nice answers for that one. Prakash Chandra Pudel says, well, for the past 30 years, things have changed definitely when it comes to working at home. People have been able to work online in the past few decades and earn a lot of money. Okay, Prakash, not bad. Definitely pay attention to your word choice and your grammar. Okay, all right. Let's see some more answers. Taral says, over the past 30 years, the way of working at home has dramatically been modified. This is because technology has been developed day to day and new devices appeared which make accomplishing tasks from home faster and simpler, as I mentioned, with the use of certain hardware and software, right? Make those connections, students. So over the last 3 decades, there have been many significant advancements in the methods employed to work from home, especially with the development of the internet and communication tools, which I had mentioned previously. just yesterday, I got off a video conference call with 3 of my coworkers with whom I was able to share my computer screen. This was simply unheard of back in the 90s. All right. So repeat after me. How has working from home changed in the past 30 years? Another way to say 30 years is 3 decades. Over the last 3 decades, there have been many significant advancements in the methods employed to work from home, especially with the development of the internet and communication tools, which I had mentioned previously. Just yesterday, I got off a video conference call with 3 of my coworkers with whom I was able to share my computer screen. This was simply unheard of back in the 90s. Okay. Maksud, a coworker is a colleague. It's somebody that you work with. Okay. All right. So again, notice how I'm making connections using complex sentences, using adjective clauses to give lots and lots of details and create a comprehensive visual answer for the examiner. Again, this is exactly what you need to do to get those high band scores. All right, students, let's keep going. If you could improve one part of working at home, what would it be? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer. Okay, so if you could improve one part of working at home, what would it be? Ratesh Puni, adjective clauses are using who and which or that, which allow you to give further information. Okay, so here, whom I was able to share my computer screen with. All right. Okay, so I cannot read the Cyrillic, the Russian letters, but I can read the answer. If I had a chance to improve a part of working at home, it would certainly be a lock. I would I would lock my office doors strictly between 10 and 5 p.m. while I'm bound to have full concentration on my work. Avoid the word stuff. Okay, no stuff, no word stuff. All right. Don't use the word stuff, students. It's even worse than using the word things. All right. Prakash Chandra says, if I'm ever given a chance to make an improvement working at home, I would suggest people to have a good internet connection to make the best use of it and earn more money online. Okay, Prakash. Stick to yourself so you're not giving suggestions to other people. So again, this is about you. So keep it for you. Juan Pablo Avila says, that's an interesting question. I guess I tried to improve the environment inside my own home in order to make working at home more productive. For example, I could use a standing desk right about now so that I don't have so much of a back pain after 8 hours of typing at the computer. Juan Pablo, really nice. I kind of filled in a few parts there, but that's great. So given the chance to create a better home working environment, I would buy a lock for my office door so I can concentrate on the tasks at hand, and also improve the quality of my internet connections. So communications with the outside world are more reliable and faster. All right. So again, use the question in your answer. The question is a conditional. If you could improve one part of working at home, what would it be? You can answer that as a real condition or an unreal condition. It's up to you, okay? And just reiterating what I said, a lock can really help you concentrate. Also, taking a bottle of water into your office. Given the chance to create a better home working environment, I would buy a lock for my office door so I can concentrate on the tasks at hand. Also, the quality of my internet connections so communications with the outside world are more reliable and faster. Okay, students, so lots and lots of tips there for you on how to start with a band 9 for your speaking part 1. Okay, namely, give clear, complete answers, include the answer, the explanation, the example as much as possible. Use first-person voice, refer to yourself, especially when questions are about you. Most of the part 1 questions are. So speak with I, me, my. Don't use the word things. Make connections among your answers as much as possible. And be confident. Okay, it's very, very important that you enunciate, you speak fluently. If you get stuck, don't panic. Just say, give me a moment to collect myself, and then continue on. That's the class for today. If it was a little bit fast, don't worry about it. The video will be on our channel in about an hour after it finishes processing, and then you can review it, go back, repeat. It's okay to read the information from the screen, but once you get the hang of it, try to speak and repeat without looking at the written text in the video. Tomorrow I will be back with task 1 and reading for everybody. I hope you enjoyed this class. And again, for all of you watching, join our premium package at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. This is our academic web portal here. You can click that big red button to get the premium package. Lots of videos, exams, interactive courses there for you with the right strategies. And this is our general IELTS website here at gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button there. You're very welcome, Rajveer. Welcome, Bhumi. Nice to see our members in the class. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for task 1. You're welcome, Pachu. Have a lovely day, everyone. Stay safe. Don't physically contact with others if it's not absolutely important. And I send you much love and happiness from Budapest here in the heart of Europe. Bye for now.